Deputy National Security Advisor KT McFarland joins us now. KT, you've been through this, the different ways being perceived in 2017, in 2025 as opposed to 2017. It seems like our allies are paying attention now.
Yeah, they realized Donald Trump was right about everything. You know, remember in 2017, he went to that NATO meeting and they all ridiculed him. They made fun of him. They made jokes about him. Like, how unrealistic. I even met with my German counterpart when I said, we expect you to pay 2% of your GNP towards defense. He said, that's unrealistic and naive. And now where are they? Well, they're all tripping over themselves to get a picture with Donald Trump and to pledge to spend 5% of their GNP towards defense. It'll make defense, the defense of NATO, the alliance, much, much stronger. So Donald Trump has done everybody a big favor.
And Vladimir Putin has let everyone know the threat is real. Sweden and Finland are now in. Now they're paying more. The question is, where are they going to buy the weapons? Because we have to expand our industrial base. We are the best supplier with the best equipment, but we got to make more of it. That's a different story. Let's talk about what the president said. When it comes to blowing up, they had 12 nuclear facilities in Iran at least. We went after 3 of the biggest, and we've seen to do tremendous damage. Despite what the DIA says in their preliminary study that they said they have low confidence in. But the president said they'll never rebuild its nuclear facilities. What are your thoughts? Because you know the Iranians. They've never been in this place since 1979. But what do you think they're capable and what do you think they'd want to do now?
Well, it's really up to them. I mean, do they want to have a peaceful, do they want to be normalized? Do they want to come back into the world economy, world society, or do they want to stay out on the fringes, being the world's pariah nation? It's up to them. But here's what an agreement might look like. If President Trump is able to sit down with the Iranians, and, you know, the Iranians have now asked, they want to sit down and talk. What would a deal look like? What could it look like if we normalized relations? Well, one thing that nobody paid attention to last week was like a throwaway line. President Trump said it would be okay for Iran to sell oil to China. Now, remember, Iran is under sanctions. It's not allowed to sell. People aren't allowed to buy Iran oil. China's been buying Iran oil even despite the sanctions. And China's dependent upon Iranian oil. So for President Trump to say that, okay, Iran, we'll let you continue to sell. That means it's good for Iran, it's good for Iran's economy, and it's good for China. Right. So where does this agreement go? Well, maybe we regularize our relationship. Maybe China is again joins with the rest of the world, and maybe Iran is allowed into the world economy. You know, Iran before the revolution was one of the most prosperous, well-educated, sophisticated countries in the world. They've not been there for 40 years, and maybe the Iranian people themselves, as President Trump says, let's make Iran great again. Yeah, well, if that door really got blown out of that prison and those political dissidents were allowed out, that would certainly help. Meanwhile, the IAEA director joined, Rafael Grossi, joined Martha yesterday to talk about what he knows about what's left of the Iranian missile program, nuclear program. Watch.
The Iranian nuclear program has been set back significantly. It is clear that there is one Iran before June 13, nuclear Iran, and one now, and it's night and day. It's a new reality now. Iran has far less capabilities than it had in the past.
So are they going to choose to rebuild, KT, finally? Or do you think they're going to look to talk to try to get back on the world stage while pledging not to fund their surrogates?
Look, if they choose to rebuild, we blow it up again. I mean, we now have a pretty good handle on it, the Iranian military capability, their missiles and their nuclear enrichment facilities. They also don't have any scientists left, and they don't have, they've been assassinated by Israel, and they don't have a lot of their senior military leadership left. So maybe they might want to rebuild, but with what? They don't really have the ability to do it. And I would listen to the IAEA guy. You know, they've been significantly reduced in their capability.
Yep. KT McFarland, thanks so much. It's definitely a precedent-setting time, and the president's leading the way. Appreciate it, although politics are getting in the way.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.